All right, I got to clean up a few things. When Jimmy was getting snacks, he kept the receipt, and I made him return the snacks. Also, in the Rowan game, when I won't say the player's name from Rowan, when he said, what is it, 20-0 in shots, and Jimmy went and scored, and then he ran over and said, make that 20-1. The other thing is Bittner. I don't know what DNA test you're using between Jerry and Josh, but that's way off. There's no Jerry Matthews DNA in Josh. I can promise you that. Before I get started, I want to put a shout out to Mr. Kalubiali, Vinny's dad, who's sick, and we wish him the best of luck, and he's in our prayers. All right, I'd like to thank John Heck, the Hall of Fame Committee, for this great honor of the 1999 men's soccer team. It was really a special team. I forgot to congratulate Chelsea. I would walk through the sports center to go to practice, to go home. She's in there with Todd, and she'd run down this runway, and she'd stick the pole in the ground, and she'd flip, and she'd flop like this high and lay down, and Todd's like this. Like the whole time he's doing something like this. Every day for 3 years, I never saw her go over any type of bar or rope. She went about 4 feet, and I shook my head. I walked through for 3 straight years, and all I saw her was just flopping up 4 feet in the air and laying down. I laughed at myself for 3 years, and I still do every time I see them, that I never saw her go over the 13 feet, whatever she set. I never saw her go high. Josh, I don't know if you remember, I went recruiting with Jerry to your high school basketball game your senior year. I was recruiting Max DeLeo, whose father was the president of the 76ers at the time. I was recruiting Max to come here and play soccer, and also trying to convince him to play basketball here. And so when the game was over, I think Max had like 32 points and Josh had 17. I'm going to Jerry, you're recruiting the wrong guy. This is the guy you want. You want Max. He's like, stick with soccer. We want Josh. So obviously he made the right choice with Josh. There's no doubt about it. And no one worked harder than Josh. No one worked harder. I know. I was in Jerry's office and saw him out in the court the whole time. Jimmy was great being assistant coach with Lenny for 2 years with you, and thanks for being a great assistant coach for me and helping us win the national championship. And what's great now is that our daughters are friends, play on the same high school team and same club team, and so that's great. So we've come a long way. So we had a special team, the 1999 team. It started in 1998 when that team went to the NCAA Sweet 16, and I think we kept improving and building upon that season, and the momentum took off. The team's success, I feel, was a direct result of this young team buying into the program and trusting me as their coach. And yes, I mean young. We had 9 freshmen, 12 sophomores, 1 junior, and 1 senior on that team that year. In all my years as head coach, I believe it was my most coachable team, and we overachieved because of the trust in the coaching staff and the trust we had in the players. Before I get started about this season, I want to thank my assistants, Joey Eimer, Donnie Norton, Rudy Mazoka, because this speech wouldn't be possible without them. And so please stand, you guys, to be recognized. The only issue with my speech tonight is that my memory of games is very poor, and I don't have the mental capacity as my 2 great friends and mentors, Tim Lenahan and Jerry Matthews. They're both in attendance tonight, and they're much older than me, especially Jerry. When I started coaching here, and I said this, I don't know if it was the 2001, I think it was my Hall of Fame speech, that, you know, Lenny told me, I'll give you a tip. Make sure you watch Jerry Matthews and watch how he coaches his team. His players always get better from year to year, and his teams always get better from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And just watch what he's doing, because the team's always got better, and the players always got better. So I never forgot that. I think that helped me as a coach. Make sure you tune in to the Big Ten Network. Tim Lenan's a color analyst on the Big Ten Network, so he does a tremendous job, and I'm sure he's going to be getting a World Cup game in 2026. So tune in to the Big Ten Network. You'll enjoy it. He does a terrific job. I won't go through the whole schedule game by game per my allotted time by John Heck. I'm already going to go over, so here we go. We finished the regular season with a record of 15-4, going 7-2 in the New Jersey Athletic Conference. In the NJAC tournament, we defeated New Jersey City in PKs after 2 overtimes of scoreless play, defeated the College of New Jersey and Rowan in the final in 2-1 in overtime, both on the road. Funny story about that, we had a phone call with the commissioner. Her name was Donna Ledwin at the time, and she called Rowan, and she called myself, and she said, look, when the game was over, we're going to have a big ceremony. We're going to bring the coaches out, all the teams. We're going to hand out the runners-up medallions. We're going to give the trophy out to the winners of the Metro region. Are you good with it? Yeah, we're good. Before the game, she said, don't forget, we're going to do a ceremony. We're going to have the microphone over there. We're going to have a table. We're going to go over to the bleachers. I said, yeah, we're good. We're good. So we win the game in overtime, and our guys are running around like crazy. I'm standing there. Rutler runs out onto the field as she's walking across the field. He grabs the trophy out of Donna's hands, rips it out, runs over to the grandstands. There's probably, 1,200, 1,500 people there. And he's in the stands, and everybody's going ballistic. Rowan is walking out the side gate, leaving the stadium, and she's going over to me. She's like this. She goes, it doesn't look like we're going to have a ceremony. I said, it appears that way. Thanks to Rut, we didn't have to go through any ceremony. We could just have fun. In the NCAA tournament, we earned a bye. We beat Vassar 4-0. And Rowan in the Metro region final, we beat 2-1. Playing against the 30-mile-an-hour sustained wind in the second half, Mike McElaren scored on a corner from a service from Jeff Moore for the game winner. Ironically, that was the precursor to the 2001 National Championship game winner, Mac from Moore, on a corner. Now entering the Elite Eight game, we drew Williams College, who was undefeated and ranked second in the nation. They were obviously the higher seed, but they couldn't host since their women were hosting the NCAA Final Four at Williams. So they were forced to come to Stockton to play for the NCAA Elite Eight game. I can assure everyone that they were extremely upset about the NCAA's decision about moving the game to Stockton. I called every school on their schedule for a scouting report and tried to get a VHS tape. So Abby, Emmy, talk to Mom. Every school declined to send me any kind of a tape or give me a scouting report in or out of the NESCAC conference, and some didn't even call me back. However, their opposing coaches that I did speak to from that season said, they can't be beat. Oh God, good luck. Laughed and said, best of luck. Well, they're a very good Division I team, and I have no idea how they got some of the players to go to Williams. The last gentleman said that they're going to win the national championship, so you can't feel bad about losing to them. For days I was trying to find a way that we would give us a chance to win the game, and that was my job. During the NCAA Championships conference call, the coach at Williams was trying to intimidate Stockton by making demands that they were the home team. They were going to wear the home uniforms, play their own warm-up music, and sit on the home bench. He got that idea from me back in 1994 when I did that coaching at Trenton State against Rowan. I immediately spoke up and said, not a problem at all. We'll wear all black. You can have the entire warm-up music. And when you get here, you can pick whatever bench you want to sit on. It doesn't matter to us. There was complete silence on the phone, and I knew we had an edge. Rutler told me later in the team meeting, you should have told them we'll wear their road uniforms. In our first meeting, preparing for the match, I told the team we're in deep you-know-what, and everyone is telling me we have absolutely no chance to win this game. The look in their eyes was extremely disappointment and with disbelief. Butler says, all right, Hainesy, if we play the best possible game we can play, can we win? I said no. He said, what if they play the worst game they can possibly play, can we win? I said no. He goes, what if we play the best possible game and they have a bad day, can we win? I said maybe. The team said, okay, well then let's go to work and do our part. The players said, all right, coach, what do we need to do to get this done? I said, don't worry, I'll come up with something. The plan was to shorten the game, force them into restarts because we were very strong on our set pieces, force them into playing long balls, give them shots from a distance to delay the game, and for one Stockton player to take every single throw-in the game because I knew that would frustrate them mentally out of the game. It worked. The coach said during the game, you're ruining the game by playing this way. My response was, my job here is to give our team every possible chance to win under the rules of the game. They had foreign national team players, multiple MLS draft picks. They were basically a Division I program. I wasn't sure we had enough to win the game during the run of the play. However, I knew we were as good as anyone in the country on restarts. It was imperative that we took players on 1v1 to draw fouls in the attacking third, gain the end line for corners, and create long throw-in opportunities. We got our corner, and we had 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores in this photo behind me attacking the ball. Number 24, Jason Kufta, attacked the corner with determination and buried home a tremendous header for the eventual game winner midway through the second half. The guys claim that he headed it off his hip. So it doesn't look like it went off his hip. So great goal, Jace. The game was very evenly played, believe it or not, with shot totals 8-3 Williams and 5-3 corners for Williams. But I will tell you that probably half of their shots were in the last 5 minutes of the game when they pushed everyone forward, and it was very gut-wrenching at times, to say the least. We learned the following day that we lucked out, and we were traveling to Chicago to play now the number 1 team in the country, Wheaton College, who was a national powerhouse at the time. Coming into our game at that Final Four, since 1996, they were 81, 3, and 7. The last 4 years, and winning the national championship in 1997 and going to the finals in 1999. We went into halftime 0-0. I was happy with how we were playing, and I felt confident going into the locker room. I was walking across the field with Joey Eimer, my assistant, and he asked me what I thought. I said, I think we're going to win the whole thing because we're better than the first 2 teams that I saw earlier. He began to tear up walking into the locker room, and I said, so we're going to go on a cruise? I said, yep, we're going on a cruise. And the story was that I always told my assistants, if we ever win a national championship, I'm going to take my assistants on a cruise. So he was getting excited. Obviously, we lost, but when we won in 2001, I did take my assistants on a cruise. JC and Lenahan went with us, and Chris Weiner, so we had a great time. However, there was a major problem with Wheaton in the second half. We had to contain for another 45 minutes their 2 returning national first-team All-Americans in Rob Mao and 1998 National Player of the Year with 69 goals, career goals, up top. And next to him was the 1999 NCAA Division III Player of the Year, Eric Brown, with 86 career goals. Still to date, they're number 1 and 2 at Wheaton in goals and number 1 and 2 in Wheaton of all time in points. We didn't have an answer for these 2 in the second half. So the guy's name is Rob Mao, who was a terrific player. And when he scored the first goal, we're down 1-0, and there's about 2,000 people at the game, and they're singing. And I'm like trying to figure out what they're singing. I mean, it was really loud. And I said to Joe Bean, who Coach Lenahan and I know pretty well, and he's a terrific guy, Incidentally, we gave him his 501st win as a college coach. He came over and he goes, "Hainesy, do you remember the Meow Mix commercial?" I said, "Oh, yeah." So this is what we had to listen to 3 times in the second half. Because his name was Rob Mao. So we didn't have an answer, and I know Mac Laren, and I wish he was here because he was getting spun around like a top in that second half. He's in Florida at a wedding. All right, so ironically, we gave up 3 goals in like 8 minutes and 50 seconds in the second half, and we had a young team at 9 freshmen and 12 sophomores, and we couldn't recover from that first goal. But when I looked at the box score 2 days ago, I was surprised because that's Williams. Oh, here we go. So in the Wheaton box score, Wheaton shots were 14, Stockton was 11. Corners were 3 for Wheaton, 6 for Stockton. Fouls were 11 for Stockton, 14 for Wheaton. So we didn't get our butts kicked, but we did for about 8 minutes and 50 seconds, and they were the better team. There's no doubt about it. So they took control of the game in the second half, and we lost to one of the classiest teams I came across during my collegiate career as a player, assistant coach, or head coach. They had approximately 2,000 people in attendance, including Coach Lenahan, and maybe with 50 Stockton fans. We received a standing ovation from the crowd when leaving the stadium and yelling, "Beat Rowan for us next year." They had an issue with Rowan the previous season, and they were rooting for us from there on out. I know we were disappointed at the end of the game, but the reception we received walking out of the stadium made us realize how great of a game and season we had. We still enjoy reminiscing about the season, even if I'm not a big contributor, because I just found out that Cooper scored the game-winning goal in the conference final and not Jason Kufta. We finished the season with a final record of 25-1. For the program's first Elite 8 and Final Four appearances. I want to thank, most importantly, the players, because I didn't score 1 goal or make 1 save. This 1999 team earned every single accomplishment, accolade, and award. Secondly, I want to thank Coach Tim Lenahan, our previous head coach here at Stockton, who I coached under in 95, 96, and 97. I know the program wasn't built in 1 game, in 1 season, by 1 coach. This was years of collective dedication, sacrifices, coaching, and players' tireless efforts that we benefited from and built upon. I also want to thank my assistants again, Joey Eimer, Donnie Norton, Rudy Mazoka, the late Vera King Farris, Larry James, Lonnie Folks, John Heck, all of our athletic trainers, Sue Newcomb, all of our athletic support staff, Sal Catafamo, Allison Henry, Mel Gregory, Steve Phillips, Craig Stambaugh, Stephen Davis, Joe Marchetti, Eileen Conran Folks, Jan Kleen, Tom Greitz, Dick Thomas, Joe Rubenstein, Joe Lasasso, Sue Malazzo, Dave Resch and the grounds crew, Pam Cross and Betsy McShay. I know I'm missing people, so they're not here anyway, so I'm not going to worry too much. And last but certainly not least, President Kesselman, who supported me, and Tim Lenahan and our soccer program to great levels, and the athletics program and men's soccer. At the conclusion of the 1999 season, President Kesselman immediately began the process of hiring full-time coaches at Stockton for the first time. So this team blazed new trails and made a difference at Stockton. We have some Stockton soccer alumni here in attendance that were not part of this 1999 season, but were instrumental to the development of the program and paved the way so we could be honored here tonight. So can all you guys just please stand and be recognized? Guys that were not on the 1999 team: Vinny, Lenny, Craig, or Scott, JC, Scotty, the stuff. Getting close to the end, I want to recognize some individual accolades from the 99 season. First team regional All-American Greg Rutler, regional All-American Honorable mention, Jeff Moore. NJAC first team, Greg Rutler. NJAC first team, Tom Sauer. NJAC second team, Mike McEllernan. Jeff Moore. Rasheed Hawkins. And honorable mention, Tony Cooper. I appreciate this team, Stockton University, this Hall of Fame honor, and all the friendships that we have formed because of the soccer program. And once again, the 1999 soccer team thanks all of you for this honor and all of your support. I'd like to introduce 1999 attacker Jason Steger to the podium, who will be one of our speakers representing the 1999 team. So Jay, come on up.